Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Is it okay for Barack Obama to come to the UK and tell us how to vote in the EU referendum?
Barack Obama, who arrives today. Liam Fox.
Well, the President is entitled to be heard. He's our closest ally in the world. My problem, I think, with this is that what he's talking about for Britain is something America would never accept for itself. You would never have the Americans accepting a court telling the Supreme Court what to do. You would never accept them being told to have an open border with Mexico. You would never expect Congress to allow someone else to determine how to spend its money. I think that you've always got to be careful when you're getting involved in anyone else's domestic politics. I think if there's a big existential issue like your national security, you've probably got a need to speak out. But I don't like being told that we should accept one thing that the Americans wouldn't. And my message to President Obama would be, can we cope with making our own laws? Can we cope with controlling our own borders? Can we cope with controlling our own money? Yes, we can.
But you,
and what's good enough for America is good enough for us.
But you, in the past, you've lectured America on what you think they should do, haven't you?
No, it's not a question of
but you
lecture.
have. I mean,
and I'm not the head of state.
No, you're not the head of state. I think we know that, yes. So it's all right for you, but not for
Well,
for
we all have our opinions, but he's the head of state. And to actually come and say to us, you should accept something for the United Kingdom that we would never accept for the United States, I think you should just pause a little bit and think the message that gives us.
OK, Paddy Ashdown.
But that's not what he's saying. He's saying quite specifically, it's up to you to make up your own mind about these things. We'll get onto some of these issues later on. Look, 99 years ago this month, the American president in 1917 took the decision that American troops would be sent to Europe. And they were, by the thousand. And we would probably have lost the First World War had it not been for the intervention of America to save our freedom. And they did it again in the Second World War. And they did it again in the Cold War. And in those three wars, 1.5 million young American soldiers were killed or wounded. What reason is he here? There's 1.5 million reasons. America has in the past protected us, defended us at every one of the dangerous moments that we have faced. And if it is the President's view, which it is, and it's mine too, that a step we are about to take will introduce instability into Europe at a time which is exceedingly dangerous, he has a right to say that, and he has a right to tell us that this step will endanger the safety of both his country and Europe and ourselves.
But it won't...
Now, hang on a second, Tim. Let me just finish. Now, he does come here as a head of state of the greatest nation on earth and our constant friend in times of the most difficulty over the last 100 years. We should give him a hearing and we should listen.
All right.
And we should treat him with respect. And the one thing we should not do is do what Kate Hoey did the other day, call him a patronizing hypocrite. That is bad manners, and it shames all of us. At the very least,
Tim,
he's allowed respect.
All right, Paddy. Tim, I'll come to you, but obviously Kate Hoey ought to be able to answer that first. Kate.
Well, I didn't actually call him a patronising hypocrite.
That's
I said he was hypocritical and he was being patronising. And I would just start... Exactly. Can I... Yeah, so you should read it more carefully. I don't think that President Obama woke up one morning with Michelle and said, we've got to go to London and we've got to tell the people that they're need to stay and vote to stay in the European Union. We know why he's come. He's obviously come, and it's a very useful time to come and have lunch with Her Majesty, and that's great, and I've no objection to him coming to say goodbye. But, of course, we know he was asked by the Prime Minister. David Cameron literally, I believe, not necessarily got down on his knees, but he pleaded with him to come because he needs him, because he knows that the campaign
Do you have a shred of evidence
has
for that?
not been going
tiny
very well. Well, I
that?
know, Paddy, that David Cameron is spending a lot of his time now, instead of looking after the steel industry and other issues, and the doctors that we might come on to, in going round the country and going round getting every single international figure he can get to come along and tell the British people. But, the reality in terms of the security issue is ridiculous. The Americans have their own interest. I know they're our greatest neighbour and friend that we want to be working with, but they have their own interest. They tried to stop us defending the Falklands. They tried to stop us when they invaded Grenada, and we, part of the Commonwealth, they didn't come and consult us. So when it's in their interest, because they see us in the European Union as their kind of spokesperson. Now, if we leave, why would we not still be part of being friendly with the United States and still be able to cooperate with them?
All right. Let's hear from you in the front row there.
I wonder whether he's saying what's in America's interest or in our interest.
Leanne Wood, what do you think?
Well, I don't remember there being a big outcry when President Obama intervened in the Scottish referendum debate. I think many Tories welcomed his intervention then, telling Scots that Scotland would be better off as part of the United Kingdom. So either it's okay for the President of the United States to intervene on matters in the UK, or it's not. You can't pick and choose depending on the referendum. But I would say, from a Welsh perspective, we've got our elections to the National Assembly in just 2 weeks' time, and this debate has completely dominated politics for a number of weeks now. And the danger for us is that the very important issues, the fact that we've had 17 years of a Labour-led government, they are the establishment in Wales.
Hang on, we're not doing a party political for Plaid Cymru here tonight. We know the elections are coming up in 2 weeks' time. The question was, is it okay for Barack Obama to come and say what he did?
Well, if it was okay for him to intervene in the Scottish referendum campaign, it has to be okay for him to intervene in this one as well.
The man up there in pale blue, up there in the gallery. Yes.
To link this back, as Paddy did, to a security issue, the reason the Americans can have an opinion on things, surely security in Europe has been a NATO programme, and we joined the single market, the political project that is Europe in the 70s. So it's nothing to do with the wars and what's happened since the wars.
Tim Martin. We're going to go on. Tim.
I agree with what you've said about NATO. If Barack Obama wants to speak out, or Prince Charles wants to speak out, you can't stop him. I think it's slightly repugnant the way it does seem to be the great and the good. Even the New Zealand Prime Minister has been asked to comment on the European Union. So there is quite a lot of interference. I utterly disagree with Paddy's analysis of the situation. What has made America great, the top military power, a fantastically powerful economy, perhaps the greatest country in the world, is the fact that it's a democracy, and that democracy is enshrined in their constitution. And if you look around the world now, it's democratic countries which are the most prosperous, and democratic countries which have the most freedom, and America's a shining example of that. The problem with Europe is that it is removing democracy, and that's the issue.
Okay. Well, we were dealing with Barack Obama's visit. We've got a question on Europe coming up right now, so let's go to that, and we'll just move on. It's from Robin Horn, please. Robin Horn.
Are the Treasury right to use scare tactics in the forthcoming referendum?
This was the latest announcement by the Treasury, saying that, on average, by 2030, households would have to pay a further, or would lose £4,300 a year. Paddy, I'll come to you, but first I do want to ask you just one question which has been niggling at me. When we saw you and Neil Kinnock and David Cameron on those telephones this week, who were you actually talking to?
We were talking to help us on the Remain campaign, the Britain campaign,
You weren't cold calling people.
No, but we were ringing them to say thank them for their work. Now,
I thought you were ringing Mrs. Paddy Ashdown, former leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Wait. You'll get there, David, if you allow me to finish the story. So I'm roaring with laughter, and the reason I'm roaring with laughter is because I've just discovered 3 Lib Dems in a row. And the third one says, can I speak to the Prime Minister? I want to persuade him to vote Lib Dem. So I handed it to the Prime Minister. All of us will do our cold calling later on. So the question was, look, I think the Treasury was right. I think this is well-founded. The Financial Times said so too. But look, I'm going to concede that both sides here will no doubt massage the arguments in favour and the figures a bit. They always do it, and we're probably doing it now. So I'm going to invite you not to listen to the Treasury.
Really?
Extraordinary. Well, wait, David, you must let me finish.
No, I'm interested in what you're saying.
I want you to listen instead to the independent, accepted, respected international bodies who have warned us of the dangers and costs to ourselves and the global economy and the European economy of doing the step that will take us out of Europe. And the Remain campaign, the Out campaign, like Liam, has said, no, they're wrong. Every time one comes up, wrong. They don't explain why they're wrong, they just say they're wrong, as though saying it made it so. So, the IMF, which said that was wrong, the OECD, which said that was wrong, the World Trade Organization, which said that was wrong, the G7 finance ministers, which said that was wrong, the Bank of England governor was wrong, everybody's wrong except for them.
Rubbish.
No,
all right.
but that's
okay,
so
make the point.
wait.
Well, I can't keep waiting, Paddy.
Forgive me.
Yeah,
I'm going to set a challenge for you. It might be interesting.
Liam can take it up.
Liam will take it up. Can they offer the name of a single, independent, respected, international institution that does not believe that leaving the European Union will be exceedingly damaging to us and to the world economy? Just as we're coming out of recession, we're about to be plunged back in it. That's what they say. Are they wrong?
Liam Fox.
Well, on the question on the Treasury, well, let's be very frank and honest. All politicians will use negative campaigning at some point if it suits them. But if you're going to do it, at least you've got to be decent about doing it. And the thing about the Treasury report this week was it was cringingly inept. I was embarrassed that it came out of a Treasury which I've helped get elected. And I think Gordon Brown would have blushed at the manipulation of data that was in this particular report. Now, first of all, since Paddy wants an explanation, they invented this statistic, GDP per household. It's never used anywhere else in government. It's never used in the budget, never used anywhere else. According to this, we have a GDP per household of £68,000. I don't know how many people recognise that figure.
2030, this is they're talking about.
This is,
and won't recognise it now, because it's 2016.
Yes, and what they said was, although the economy would continue to grow, whether we were inside or outside the European Union, they believed it would grow slightly more slowly if we were outside the European Union. And then they said, if you make the assumption that we have 3 million migrants coming in, you end up with this number of 4,300. Now, in order for George... Hang on a second. In order for George Osborne to be right, we have to have no trade deals outside the European Union, have 3 million migrants, which, of course, blows apart the Conservative election pledges, and they have got to be right in their predictions for 60 consecutive quarters. And remember, today, we got the number that we didn't get the number correct from our prediction in October last year. So there seems to be a lot for us to swallow. And frankly, it was an incredible assessment.
Can you pick up on... Can you, or maybe Kate can, pick up on the point Paddy made, which is there are a whole host of these reports, and the Institute for Fiscal Studies says they're all broadly in the same direction. Kate was asked whether she could name one reputable study.
Well, I've now got one from you.
A reputable institution, not a name of an individual economist.
Let's just look at the CBI to start with. The CBI actually commissioned the PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers. They did a report which said, yes, of course, when we leave immediately, there will be some uncertainty, but as the months go on, growth will grow. And it is very, very clear that there are other, independent reports, Capital Economics, the Tosca Fund. I don't know the details of all these because, you see, fundamentally to me, this is, yes, the economics is very important, and we're going to get all these different views, and there will be scare stories. But for me, the most important thing about why I want people to leave is because I do genuinely believe that we have lost control of our borders and our immigration system, but more importantly, we are not an independent country anymore. We are not. And that is, to me, the most important
There you
thing.
go. Hold on.